Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Richard III and we get to hear from Richard again today. Now keep in mind he is at the middle of the funeral procession for Henry VI, wherein Lady Anne was the only mourner there, and he has decided that he needs to woo and marry her as part of his evil plot because he doesn't like all this peacetime stuff, so he's just trying to stir up some trouble. And yesterday we had her cursing him, chewing him out and yelling at him because he killed her husband and he killed King Henry, who's right there. And yesterday she was like, you're making things worse by being here. It's like you're killing him all over again. And he was like, I came here to talk to you and I didn't actually kill them. And she's like, oh, well, then they're alive. Great. And he's like, no, that's not true. And she's like, yeah, they're dead. Can't you tell? And he's like, well, but it wasn't really my fault because I only did it to get closer to you and because you're so beautiful and everything like that. And there's a lot of back and forth, this kind of stuff. She keeps trying to repel him and he keeps coming back with other answers. And he goes so far as to say the most fit place for him in the world is in her bedchamber. And she's like, ew. And he says, yes, I can, thank goodness that I helped get rid of your other husband because I know of a better husband who's going to love you even more than he did. And she's like, where? Who? And he's like, right here. And she spits at him and says something about eyes, and he's like, your eyes have bewitched me. And she says, I wish my eyes were basilisks, which anybody who has seen Harry Potter knows what a basilisk is. It's a snake that can kill you just by looking at you. And he responds by saying, I would they were, that I might die at once, for now they kill me with a living death. Those eyes of thine from mine have drawn salt tears, shamed their aspects with store of childish drops. These eyes, which never shed remorseful tear. No, when my father York and Edward wept, to hear the piteous moan that Rutland made when black-faced Clifford shook his sword at him, nor when thy warlike father, like a child, told the sad story of my father's death, and 20 times made pause to sob and weep, that all the standers by had wet their cheeks like trees bedashed with rain. In that sad time, my manly eyes did scorn an humble tear, and what these sorrows could not thence exhale, thy beauty hath, and made them blind with weeping. I never sued to friend nor enemy, my tongue could never learn sweet smoothing word, but now thy beauty is proposed my fee. My proud heart sues and prompts my tongue to speak. Teach not thy lips such scorn, for it was made for kissing, lady, not for such contempt. If thy revengeful heart cannot forgive, lo, here, I lend thee this sharp-pointed sword, which if thou please to hide in this true breast, and let the soul forth that adoreth thee, I lay it naked to the deadly stroke, and humbly beg the death upon my knee. She takes the sword and sort of like goes like she's gonna stab him, but then she pauses. Nay, do not pause, for I did kill King Henry, but 'twas thy beauty that provoked me. Nay, now dispatch, 'twas I that stabbed young Edward, but 'twas thy heavenly face that set me on. She puts the sword down. Take up the sword again, or take up me. So what he's getting at here, it's all flattery. It's all flattery, and probably a lot of it is just for show because he wants to woo her, but he's very effective with his words, and this is what we learn about Richard. He may not be the best looking person that ever existed, but he is very smart and very cunning and very good with words. So he tells her he has never cried in his life, but the fact that he brought her pain has made him cry, and the fact that she's so beautiful has made him cry for the first time in his life. And she gives him a sort of a mean look, and he's like, no, your face shouldn't be making that look. Your lips were made for kissing. They weren't made for scorning. And he's like, if you can't forgive me, then kill me. And he gives her a knife, and she kind of goes like she's gonna do it. And he's like, I did these horrible things, but it's because you're so beautiful that I did them. And she puts down the sword, and he says, pick it up, or embrace me as your husband. And she's like, as much as I want you dead, I don't want to be the one to kill you. And he's like, well, then tell me to kill myself. And she says, I have many times. And he says, yeah, but you said that in anger. So tell it to me again now that you're calmer. And she can't, and she doesn't. And she softens to the point where he's able to get close enough to her to give her a ring, which she says she'll wear. And he's like, just do me this one little favor. Just you go ahead. You go ahead and I'll take the body to Chertsey and bury it, and you go ahead and wait for me and I'll meet up with you. And she agrees to do that. And they've kind of sort of almost come to an understanding or made peace or something. She's softened enough that she doesn't want to kill him anymore. She's actually going to wait for him to come and join up with her. So she leaves. He tells the casket bearers to pick up the casket. They're like, are we going to Chertsey to inter the body? And he's like, nope. And there's a whole monologue, a whole big, beautiful monologue that you've probably heard snippets of here and there that comes tomorrow that'll tell you what's happening with his plan now that he is feeling good about his situation with the Lady Anne. So I'll see you tomorrow as we unveil more of Richard's plot. Mwah.